The rental crisis is no longer just a Dublin problem. It is a crisis that is being experienced right across the country. And in the west of Ireland, in Galway City, we're seeing real problems in terms of the amount of rental accommodation that's available, and also there is real difficulties for tenants when it comes to the affordability issue. So rents are rising quite dramatically. So they're the two key issues that we're facing: supply and affordability in the city. And the consequence, I suppose, of not being able to secure accommodation for people is more and more they're becoming homeless. So in a situation where somebody loses their current tenancy, finding another place to live is proving really difficult at the moment. We're seeing a dramatic increase in the number of tenancies that are being terminated because the landlord is selling their property, because the landlord is moving back into the property, or is carrying out some substantial refurbishment or repair in that property. And at this point in time, it is very difficult for a tenant, particularly tenants with families who may have children in local schools, etc., to actually find an alternative place to live that they can actually afford. And not only is the challenge being experienced in Galway City, it's also being pushed out to more rural areas, into Galway County, for example. So we've seen quite dramatic rent increases in Galway County over the last number of months. And we're also seeing problems in other surrounding areas, Clare, Roscommon and Mayo. So it's a real challenging environment for people who rent their homes at the moment. And obviously the lack of social housing and the lack of housing for, I suppose, private occupation is also exacerbating the situation. I think supply is obviously the first and foremost is what we need. But obviously there are challenges in terms of bringing that supply online quickly enough. And it is going to take some time. In the short term, what we need to do is to improve even further security of tenure measures in the private rented sector. And we also need to ensure that the rent pressure zone regulations that have been introduced over the last number of years, that they're actually monitored and policed effectively, so to ensure that those rules actually work in reality. Because we see quite a lot that landlords don't actually abide by those rules and are seeking to increase rents above the 4% that's allowed under the regulations. So I think they're probably the two steps that could be taken in the interim to try and make the private rented sector, I suppose, a more secure and a more viable long-term renting option for people.